Hello guys, it's Kasim. How you doing? Welcome back again to my channel. I hope you're alright. I hope life is been treating you well. I hope you're still working out. I hope you're getting yourself educated, skilling yourself up. Today I wanted to talk to you about Logan Paul. Logan Paul. I've spent a lot of time studying Logan Paul recently because he is an anomaly, and as you know, I find people who are anomalies fascinating. Why people, if you look at the way that they've been brought up and then you look at their life, how it doesn't make sense. They shouldn't really have achieved what they've achieved, and yet they've managed to do it. So Logan Paul is a perfect example of this, and I wanted to talk a little bit about him, and I wanted to share some things with you that maybe you might want to think about in your own life, maybe something for you to reflect on, and I hope it can add some value to you and can help you become a higher, fuller expression of who you're capable of becoming. But before we get into that, guys, if you want to help support me get to 1,000 subscribers by June, please can you like and subscribe to my channel? You would be an absolute legend. Thank you very, very much. Okay, cool. So let's get into this. So the first thing that I wrote down here is that Logan Paul knows what people want. He knows his audience. So let's bring it back and let me say this. A great question many years ago was asked, how can I, as a person, achieve great power? How can I achieve great influence? How can I become powerful, wealthy, influential? And here was the answer. The answer was, find a way to serve the many, for service to many will lead to greatness. I remember I heard Zig Ziglar say that if you will help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. Here's my point. If you want to do very well in the business world, economically, you need to figure out a way to help other people. There's basically no way of escaping this, okay? The more people you can help, or the more of a service that you can provide to either an organization, a group of people, a person, the more economically better off you will do. Which obviously mandates that you, number one, become valuable. Now, Logan Paul, the reason why I absolutely love him and I find him absolutely fascinating is because Logan Paul has figured out what people want of his, who are mavericks, I guess, if you will, who feel invisible, who feel like they're not enough, who feel like outsiders, and he's giving them what they want. One of the things that people who are mavericks and who are outsiders want is they want escapism, okay? They want fun. They want to feel like they're free. And what I would share with you is a lot of, and I say this to you because this is something that I, as Kasim, have had to learn recently, which is that a lot of us, we live our lives based on what we can get, what people can give us. When we go to a job, we don't say, this is what I can do for you. This is what I can become. This is what I can achieve. This is how hard I can work for you. This is what courses I'm doing as an extra to add value to this organization. That's not what most of us do. Most of us say, well, how much are you going to pay me? You tell me, you give me the pay increase, and then I'll work hard for you. And the issue is that this puts us in a victim mentality. It puts us in a position where we're reacting, not creating, right? Where we are on the defense instead of building. And rather we're maintaining instead of building. And what I would share with you is, and it's something that you want to think about is, are you at the moment spending the majority of your time creating, building, and adding value to other people? Because as Zig Ziglar said, if you will help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. So the question, see, taking this further, this means that you have to spend a huge amount of your time figuring out what people want and then giving it to them before they will give you what you want. And this is one of those, you know, I was saying to somebody the other day that one of the roles of a father is to teach you how the world functions. Okay, and a lot of guys, when you're young particularly, when you start figuring out how the world works, a lot of guys are like, I'm not involved, I don't want this, I don't, you know. To give you an example of this, and I've said this before in a previous video, I was talking about my friend Roland. My friend Roland has been brought up primarily by his mum, and he was really upset. And he said to me, Kasim, the world is so not right, it's so unfair because I'm having to work for 4 months to make enough money so that I can go on a 2-week holiday. How is that right? And I said to Roland, you don't like that, but that is the way that it is. And I said to him, either you get on board with that or you're going to lose. Because you still are, you're going to shout and scream and talk about how it's unfair, but you still can't go on holiday. You're still on the back burner, right? And so what I would share with you is, there is a lot of you guys who are defiant. You don't like the way things are, but you're not winning. You're not getting on the good side of life. And what I say to people all the time is, if you want to change anything, firstly, learn to master that area, master it, and then when you get into it, change it, right? And change the way it's done and change the rules. Meaning, like, if you don't like the way FIFA, the rules that FIFA have for football, do you know the easiest way to change it? Get into football, get into FIFA, work in FIFA, get really high up, and then change the rules, right? But trying to change the rules and talking about how you don't like FIFA's rules and you have no place in it and you've never played in football, you're not really high up, and you don't have a position in FIFA, how are you going to win, right? You're not on the good side of the way things work. And so the reason why I'm saying this to you is because I've learned that a lot of you guys are in positions where you're on the back burner. You are in the negative. You're not in a strong position. You're not in a position where you can attack life. You are building multiple streams of income. You're in a position where you're creating, where you have loads of things going on. A lot of you guys, the only thing that you have going for yourself is your job. That's it. And if you were to lose your job, you would be fucked, is me basically putting it into very simple English. You would be fucked, right? You don't have any other partnerships that are going on. You're not going to university to get a master's degree. Like, there's nothing actually going on in your life beyond going to work. And so what I would encourage you to do in your own life, and obviously this is your life, you do whatever you want to do, is start thinking a bit like Logan Paul. Start looking at, who can I help? Who can I add value to, right? And then start doing it. Like, look at me. I'm not obviously that famous. I'm not anybody who is got thousands of followers. I think today I looked at and I have 104 followers. But I'm trying to figure out, how can I add value to those 104 followers? How can I in some way say something that can improve your life? Right? And hopefully in the future I can be big enough so that I can help even more people, and maybe at some point it can be reciprocated through partnerships with other people. But my point is, I'm willing to put in the work to add value to you first before you start adding value to me. So that's the first thing. Logan Paul really knows what his audience wants, and he's just giving it to them. He's just giving people everything that he wants. Logan Paul's audience want 4 or 5 minute clip videos, and they want loads of things going on. They want entertainment. He gives it to them. Look at Logan Paul's videos. They're all about 4 or 5 minutes long with loads of shit going on. 2, Logan Paul has a massive team around him. He has videographers, he has an assistant, he has co-hosts, he has partnerships. So I say this to you because what I've come to realize in looking at myself and looking at a lot of people who are unsuccessful is that a lot of us are relying primarily on ourselves to do well in life. Many of us don't have a support system. We don't have people around us in terms of partnerships, in terms of co-hosts, in terms of collaborations with other people, of businesses, of people who have what we don't have, in order to leverage ourselves so that we can do really well in life, right? Like, for example, for me, I'm not very good at writing, so guess what? I've got myself a ghostwriter, right? And here's where it gets interesting. By me getting myself a ghostwriter, I now create an income and I create a job for that person, right? I'm saying to you that some of you out there, you could literally employ hundreds of people if only you would just start doing what you're really good at. If you start thinking bigger, start thinking generationally. Actually, this is one of the things that I think is really important. One of the reasons why a lot of you guys, you're not doing very well in life is because you're just thinking about today. How quick can I get it? How fast can I earn it? But I would say to you that if you look at all the great empires and you look at all people who build great sort of foundations for their family and generational wealth and do very, very well, a lot of them are generational thinkers. They think I'm gonna start this, and then I want my children to like finish it. They think, okay, I'm gonna start. I'm right. The goal is to have commercial properties or to have 30 houses which we rent out in our family. But I recognize somebody has to go first. So a lot of these individuals, they say, right, I'm going to try to, in my lifetime, have 3 properties rented out. And then my children can have 3 rented out or 4 in there. In fact, they can maybe take the 3 and take it to 8 because now they've got a head start and they have, equity in these 2 that I've done in my lifetime. That's how you begin to do remarkable things. Because the reality is, to do anything great takes time, right? It takes time, and sometimes the things that you want to do that are going to be great are going to be things that outlive you. I remember I was listening to a guy who said that there are 3 things that a man should do in his lifetime. He should, number 1, plant a tree, number 2, have a son, and number 3, write a book. Why? Because all of those will outlive you. So here's the question that I pose to you. How many things do you have in your life that you've leveraged, that you've set up, that are going to be able to outlive you? Because if you have nothing, what businesses have you set up that even if you were to die today, other people can still benefit from? Something for you to think about, right? Because if you have an organization today, let's say, for example, and you have people working for you, and in the God forbid you were to pass away, are they still employed? Could they still carry it on? Could they find somebody else to do what you do? Maybe not exactly the way that you do it, right? It's just something for you to think about. It's just something that I was thinking about. Third thing that I wrote down here is diversify and reinvent yourself. One of the things that I absolutely love about Logan Paul is that this brother is not afraid to reinvent himself, right? He's come from a YouTuber to having merchandise to having a podcast. Like, this brother doesn't mind diversifying his life, which gives him so much leeway to be able to do great things. And I think, I was listening to a guy who was talking about the advice that he used to give people. He said, I go to a lot of universities and kids would ask me, what is the best degree that I can take that can guarantee me to do very well in life? And he said, I used to recommend to people that you take engineering. You take engineering, you're going to be guaranteed to do very, very well in life, right? Not just economically, but you're going to be able to create a really stable income, which women are going to be attracted to, etc., etc. But he said that I've changed my mind now. He said today, the guaranteed career for a lot of people is to be in a creative field. To be somebody who can basically be, have a plasticity around them. Somebody who can be creative, somebody who can work with people from Nepal, people who can work with Zoom, people who can create content on the internet, on YouTube, on Instagram, who can do marketing. You are going to be better off in the next 50 years if you are that kind of person. The person who just wants to stick to one career and stick to that career and do it for the next 50 years is not going to do very well. And the reason is because most companies today last, on average, about 11 years. So you have an issue on your hands, right? Because if that company goes under, you're going to really struggle to go and find another company that's going to take you on when you're 11 years into a job. Because 11 years into a job means that you're at a certain level. That means they're going to have to give you a certain amount of money, which companies don't want to do. And you're going to be coming in with your old ideas, and people want people who come into their organization so that they can mold them into what they want. A guy who's been doing a job for 11 years has certain expectations in terms of salary, and is not going to be as coachable as somebody who's just brand new graduate out of university. You see what I'm saying? And so today, one of the great things is being able to reinvent yourself, right? Being able to collaborate and work with people who are completely different from you, right? Because the world has become globalized. Can you work with people from India? Can you, for example, in what I do, I sometimes I recently asked somebody to make a logo for me. And the guy who made the logo is in New York, right? It works is a part of a company, a freelance company called Fiverr.com. And he works in New York, right? And so I had to Zoom this guy and have a conversation with him and talk about his life and his family, etc. And he lives in New York. It's a completely different life to me, different climate, different culture over there, completely different. But yet we're able to collaborate with each other. So the question is, can you do that? The last thing that I wrote down here is multiple streams of income. Logan Paul. What is allowing Logan Paul to be able to do such amazing things in his life and to have so much freedom to experiment and go in different directions is because he has multiple streams of income. And I've already briefly mentioned this, and so I ask you, how many streams of income do you have? Because if the only stream of income that you have at the moment is your job, you're fucked. Okay? Because if you lose your job, and actually a lot of people have found this out during the pandemic. A lot of people have found this out. Oh my God, I've lost my job. I have no way to pay my bills. Why? Because I was simply relying on one source of income to basically sustain me. And, you know, one of the needs that I have found human beings have is the need to be creative. I've just done a video on Minecraft, and I was saying why Minecraft is so big. Part of the reason why Minecraft is so big is because Minecraft creates an environment where you can create buildings and you can go on an adventure. And the thing is, a lot of people, we're not meeting that need in our own lives. So, and part of the reason why we can't do that is because we're stuck in a job where we can't leave. And so one of the things you'll have to do is you'll have to make some sacrifices. You might have to do the magic of part-time, where you go to your full-time job, and like me, and then on the side you do what you love, which for me, I have a full-time job, and then on the side I do speaking to you guys, I write books, I do courses and stuff like that. It's just something that I thought about, and I just thought, you know, I spent a lot of time studying people really successful, and I can tell you on average, these really successful people have 4 incomes. They usually have their own job or career, they have shares in a company, they have like gold, cryptocurrency, something like that, and usually they have properties which are rented out. How many of those do you have? Do you even have any of those? Some of you might be thinking, I don't even have a job, Cass. So the point is, why don't you start on that path? Start with what you got, right? You may have to go back to college, go back to uni to skill up, or to do something that can allow you to leverage yourself. But I think this stuff isn't really important, right? Look, I think people forget how long we've got to live. If you are 30 years of age today, you've got 40, 50, 60, 70, right? Until 70, you have 40 years, 40 decades. It's a long time. So you've got loads of time to get it wrong, to add value to yourself. Now, a lot of people think that they're going to be able to retire at like 60. You ain't going to be able to retire at 60 now, right? And even if you retire at 60, that means 60, 70, 80. So the life expectancy in the UK is 80. You still have 22 decades. What the hell are you going to do for 2 decades? It's a long time. Think about what you've done in the last 10 years and how much your life has changed. It's just something for you to think about. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I don't know whether it's been useful for you or not, but I hope it's added some value to your life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to help me reach 1,000 subscribers by June. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Bye for now.